Hey, scrappy people, it's Tracy Reed here today, and I'm coming at you with a little bit of a tutorial on how I made this 3x4 tag journal that I'm flipping through right here. And I set up the tag journal before the video because it was super simple. All I did was notch all of these 3x4 cards and 3x4 papers into tags and punch a hole in the middle. It's literally all I did. And in this video, I'm going to be creating a shaker pocket and a woven tag and a couple of other small things just to set up this gratitude journal before I start actually using the gratitude journal. I wanted to make something cute and a little bit fun and different than what I normally do, and so I'm just playing around here and enjoying the process. So I literally put sequins in a plastic bag. I believe that this bag was from a Color Cast design orders, or designs order, that's what I meant. And I saw this technique from Dearly D, and she sort of divided up a pocket full of sequins. She did it on the diagonal, and I'm just gonna make it easy on myself and do it on the horizontal, but it's so that you can get sequins covering up the whole thing and not just, you know, falling to the bottom and creating a lot of bulk at the bottom of your page. So I'm just working these sequins around, dividing them up so that I can create 3 sections with my fuse tool so that they will not fall to the bottom. So you can see that they're all spread out now. And I'm going to add the hole, and of course if I'm not careful the sequins will fall out of that hole. So I'm going to use my fuse tool again at the top here and seal that off before the hole so that I don't have that issue. Da, 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 da. Now I'm going to notch the side, being very careful not to cut too much off. I just barely cut the edge of that fused line off, and it's not going to make a difference to containing those sequins. So initially I was going to go in and just like pre-decorate all these tags kind of like you would a foundation page for December Daily, but I changed my mind and decided instead that I was going to add in a few extra things, but I wasn't going to decorate the pages because this tag journal is going to be super simple and I don't want to add things to the pages that I'm going to have to pull off later. I don't want to over embellish. So I decided that I had all these paper scraps because I trimmed down the Traveler's Notebook papers that I had printed rather than printing out the 4x6 cards, the patterned 4x6 cards. So because I had all these Traveler's Notebooks paper already printed, I just trimmed those down to 3x4s. So I had all of these paper strips, and they are the perfect size for weaving together to make something cool. So I have to trim them down first, and I should have done this a little bit larger, but I trimmed them to 3x4, so I create a 3-inch one and a 4-inch one out of each paper strip. I should have done them a little bit larger because it does make the final weaving a little bit smaller than a 3x4 card, but I do remedy that situation. I should have made the 4-inch ones a little bit longer is what I should have done. So I got super lazy and tired of cutting them all one by one. So I'm going to cut them all in chunks. Now I'm going to lay these out, sort of making sure that the colors are good and separated. And I decided I don't need the solid ones because I have enough. And then this is a little bit complicated. Only in the beginning though, because you have to hold everything together. So one strip goes on top and one strip goes on the bottom. And then for the next strip, you do the opposite. So if it went on top of it the last time, then it goes on the bottom this time. And for the first few, it takes a lot of effort because you have to hold everything together. But once you have a few in, it takes a lot less effort because the previous ones are holding it nice and tight, and it gets easier as you work your way across. Now I sped this way up. This took me a long time because it's so complicated in the beginning. But you can see once I had a few in, it keeps it nice and tight, and it's a lot easier. It's just making sure that you don't miss any of the weaving, and also you don't knock the top and bottom ones off, which is really easy to do. So I'm just going through and weaving them all in and then tightening it up as I go along, and then I will tighten it up when I think I'm done and realize that I can add in some more weaving as well. And I basically did this just because I didn't want to waste those paper scraps, but I kind of really love the end result. It's kind of really fun and unexpected, and something that took a little bit of time, of course, but it adds a fun aspect to the tag album that makes it look just like takes it up another level, because the tag album itself is really simple, and you'll see tomorrow in the actual video of the first 10 pages of the tag album that I keep everything super simple and make it really easy on myself. So having these little bits and pieces in there that make it look super fancy makes it look not so simple and maybe boring down the line. So I'm just gluing little dots to each one of these little flaps, letting them dry, and then I'm going to trim off the fringe around the edges. In another project I would have left it all cute and fringy, but I wanted this one to be a little bit cleaner because I'm going to cut it into the shape of a tag. So just finishing that gluing. Glued all the edges, and that'll help it keep together once I trim off the excess. So just trimming it off around the edges, and then I'm going to notch it into a tag just like the rest of the album. Just using this as a template. And then I decided that I might need to reinforce this hole a little bit because of the nature of the weaving. So I just pull out some old Cocoa Daisy planner rings, like the sticker sheet comes in the planner collection, and it's like hole reinforcers. So I found some that would match well enough just to reinforce those holes. Now I gotta figure out somewhere to put it. There we go. So now I'll notch the sides, and I'm going to add a little label at the bottom just to make sure it's that full 3x4 size. There we go. I'm going to add in these tags that come in the sticker set just randomly in this album. Then this is where I decide that I'm not actually going to decorate the pages the way I thought I was going to. And instead of doing that, I decide to go to the box that I have by my desk of junk journal stuff that I bought, that of course I abandoned that project because I have way too many projects going on, and that was the first one to go. And after I'm done flipping through this, I go to that box and I decide to add in a few more things just for a little bit of texture variety. So that's where I disappeared to. So I'm going to add in some vintage book pages, and then I have a whole mess of like random papers here that I thought about adding. These are from an Amy Tangerine, I believe they were called day journals, I'm not sure. So I'm going to add in this glassine pocket. I'm going to cut up this crafty paper, and also that yellow Explore paper. And I'm going to add in that doily and that book page as well. So I'm just going to cut this book page out so that the whole thing is covered in words and I don't get any of that margin around the edges. I'm just going to rip off the bottom a little bit for some texture. And my camera is going to check out here right before the end of this video. I ran out of video and I didn't realize it, but you really get the idea here. I just put these in randomly in the album just to add some variety. I'm going to add that yellow Explore, and I'm also going to add, I really like that notched, or no, that like notebook edge there, so I'm going to cut off the edge to enhance it a little bit. Then I'm going to do the same with this Explore one, except I'm going to put the edge on the bottom this time, just to be a little different. Trim this up, and then I find some places for it in the journal. The other side of that yellow tag is a color that doesn't really match this album, so I do cover it with a different color on the back side there. And that is about it for this little project video. If you enjoyed it, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. And if you aren't already, go ahead and follow me over on Instagram. I am at Tracy M. Reed. And you can pick up the All the Thanks collection in my Squarespace store. I will leave a link below so that you can find it really easily. All right, thank you.